Excellency.
I think I know them.
Your Excellency, retired Governor James Elvis Omariba Ongwae.
Yes, sir.
Karibu sana, welcome to the commission. This is the commission that you applied to join, Parliamentary Service Commission. It's chaired by yours truly here, the Speaker of the National Assembly. Our members present, I'm sure they all know you. The Vice Chair is Commissioner Joyce Korir, your neighbor. Commissioner Patrick Macau, member from Morocco. Commissioner Faith Gitao, County MP for Nyandarua. Commissioner Berito Kinywa, Senator for Laikipia. Commissioner Okongo Mogeni, your neighbor, Senator Nyamira. Commissioner Mishibogo, Member of Parliament Likoni, and Commissioner Rachel Meso, non-member female commissioner. Welcome, Honorable Ongwae, Your Excellency. I disclose that you are at the university at the same time, just like ahead of me.
Yes.
And we are friends. Now you have applied to join the commission. Your records show that you have a bachelor's and master's degree.
Yes, sir.
And you have been the governor of Nyamira.
No, Kisii.
Kisii, sorry. Now we have, as is required under the law, public participation where members of the public are asked to raise any issue which the Kisii government has findings that you are a corrupt governor. It's not me saying, it's the people you are governing. What do you say to that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, sir. And thank you very much all the commissioners for seeing me here today and for the shortlisting. It's a great honor to be shortlisted, not necessarily actually to become a commissioner. And it also is a process of public participation, which we all admire. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm chair of this committee. I had seen that on social media, where that issue was coming up, and if you're in politics, you would have very many people against you. I have been a governor for 10 years. I have never had any report from the Auditor General that stigmatizes the county. And indeed, I am the only county in the 2020-2021 Auditor's Report who was an unqualified Auditor's Report. There is no county that has ever received unqualified. It's only Kisii County which received, and that is on public knowledge. You can check it. We recently received, the county recently received, was honored by the public body, the accounting public body on that. So I do not know of, if for instance you look at the issue of ghost workers, you can't pay ghost workers. When I was in government as a permanent secretary and director of personnel management, I introduced at that time, I'd gone to Ghana and I saw what they were having in Ghana, what they call the integrated personnel and payroll database system, which I came here and introduced at that time as a permanent secretary and director of personnel management. It is still being used in government. You can't pay a ghost worker. It's absolutely impossible to pay a ghost worker. And so unless somebody, because I am told a number of studies have been done, I've never seen any ghost worker. We did our studies ourselves. When I was there as a governor, we did not find any ghost worker. We did head counts. The only one or two cases that were found were people who had retired and had not been removed from the payroll. So this becomes an issue that, of course, those people don't like you as a politician are bound to bring about. On spending of public resources that was brought by Kerongo, I cannot get an unqualified report, the only one in this republic from a county government in 2021, if those resources have not been spent. And there is nowhere, I've never gone to those other issues they're talking about, anti-corruption and so on. So really it is difficult in a generalization which is spurious to even defend yourself. So I'd want to state, Mr. Chair, that those who have gone through or who have been taken through CID and other areas are known. I have never for the last 10 years gone through anything like that. That's something that is spurious. So that's all I can say, sir.
When we educate the emeritus, why do you think you qualify to serve on this commission?
Thank you very much, sir. I looked at the remit of the commission and what the commission is supposed to do. And I realized that these are things that I've done myself in public service. I was the first of all, I was a chief management analyst for government for many years and also the president. And I was also the first program director of the Kenya Civil Service Reform Program, where we're looking at public sector performance. I was in charge of all the public sector reform initiatives, whether they were financial, whether they were legal, or whether they were institutional relating to the civil service itself. And later on, I became the permanent secretary director of personnel management, where I was in charge of the entire public service, both the normal publics, and incidentally at that time, even the parliament then was not completely independent. We would advise on issues that related to human resources and other areas. Later on, I became the secretary of the Teacher Service Commission, which is the biggest employer in East and Central Africa. So, what am I saying? I'm saying that when I looked at the remit of this commission, there was a remit, the second remit on institutionalization and institutional performance, and the creation of offices, the staffing issues, right down from recruitment to retirement. And of course, discipline is in between. I realize that these are things that I've done my entire life. And these are things I can do, whether you're talking about career progression guidelines or in very simple terms what you would call skills of service, whether you are talking about salary structuring, which I did for government. And incidentally, as a PS, I am the one who changed the salary structure for government. Because when I became PS, PSs were earning about 50,000, members of parliament were earning, I think, less than 100,000. So we changed, we related the salary structures to the positions and to the functions that were being performed. Starting with the president himself, we gave the president a new salary structure. We gave members of parliament a new salary structure, recommended at that time, and also recommended for permanent secretaries, and of course the continuum then from the lowest levels went up. So the salaries in the public service were changed. So those are the things that have been done by the commission. The issues of performance management, giving service to parliament. I was chairman of the performance contracting committee for government for a number of years. We introduced performance management both from the organizational sense through performance contracting, and also from the individual sense through the improvement of the performance appraisal programs for individuals in the organization. All those are issues that I have done myself. As a governor, the other remit you have on issues relating to management, to the budget and so on, those are things that I've done. And that is why I'm the only governor who has so far received an unqualified audit report. And so that is why I thought that this is a job I could do. This is a job I would help the commission and the other fellow commissioners that is independent that one got the job in indicating to them how this can be managed. I'll give you a very simple example, Mr. Chair. When at that time when the country was having very serious problems and under the structural adjustment program, the civil service reform program was prioritized. When I became the first program director, the World Bank and IMF and Kenya government told me that we must manage the wage bill by reducing staff. And so I was in charge of that retraining program, and we were able to do a voluntary program where people were not being pushed to get out of the service. And we reduced the civil service by 80,000 people, and therefore created resources for operations and maintenance and for development of this country. I am indicating that I think I deserve to be a commissioner.
Thank you. Next question, I'll invite Commissioner Makau.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Your Excellency, Governor Ongwae, congratulations for being a governor 2 times consecutively. And of course, I am happy to say that Kisii now 10 financial years.
Yes.
10 years as a governor. To disclose which financial year out of the 10 that you got an audit of people.
This is the last round.
Or the last in office.
Yeah.
So, maybe I'll be interested in all those other 9 years. However, most governors behave or are treated highly, like they are demigods in the counties. Now that you want to be a commissioner, maybe I'll ask you a question pertaining your field and the place in a commission like this, where you, given your background, how maybe you will act in that most of the independent commissions in Kenya face challenges relating to the relationship between the commission and the secretariats. What do you think are the reasons for this? What strategies would you propose to ensure a proper working relationship between the Parliamentary Service Commission and the secretariat? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I think those problems emerge when the organization structure is not clear, when the mission and vision of that organization is not clear, and when the job descriptions for the commissioners and the secretariat are intertwined, and then that's where you get a problem. But in this particular commission, where the Constitution clearly states your responsibilities, if the officers in the commission have been chosen well, and the 2 clerks are people who understand their job, I do not see how a problem can actually occur. It shouldn't occur, but I do hope that this commission is able to have programs where you meet, you have discussions with the senior staff in exit meetings where you discuss issues of management and how each one should operate. That's where I would come in because I've been in charge of training and capacity building for this country, our country, Kenya. And I do not see that should occur in this, though it occurs in other organizations. It would also occur in organizations where those who are in higher positions, where they should.
Paraphrase. I say commissions. No commissions are run by secretariat.
Yes.
And the question is, what do you think are the reasons why commissions and their secretariats don't overwhelm? And I'm asking you, what strategies would you propose to ensure a proper working relationship between this commission, or the Ministers' Commission, and the secretariat?
Yes, thank you I think, simply put, I would ensure that the organization structure is clear. I would ensure that the duties and responsibilities are properly distributed. I would ensure that the management meetings are held on a continuous basis. And I'm saying that because I was a secretary of a commission. I'm secretary Teacher Service Commission and I had commissioners, and we did not disagree even a single day. I would also ensure that the officers of the Secretariat understand that their job is to support the commissioners. They exist to support the commissioners. I would also ask the commissioners to maintain distance. I mean, they should not get into actual daily operations unless it's for guidance, so that then you don't get commissioners doing operational work that actually should be done by the Secretariat. That would happen in areas of finance. The most disagreements would occur in areas of finance and accounting and procurement, and even so on, so that the different responsibilities of the various actors are understood. That is what I would bring to this commission. And I'm also able to rationalize issues that relate to work and issues that are personal in nature. So even if you are my worker, I would probably not judge you based on personal issues, but on your performance at work. So I'm a fairly participative leader, and that is why, for instance, I was program director, Kenya Civil Service Reform Program for 9 years. And this was a World Bank, IMF, and the GOK program. I didn't have any problems. I was able to relate with all government ministries and talk with them. I've been a governor for 10 years. And Kisii County, apart from any allegations that are spurious, I think did fairly well on the low averages. We did not have any serious problems. And the number of votes I got the first time I went in, during the election, I got slightly higher number of votes than the ones I got earlier. They wouldn't have voted for me like that. You are all politicians. People don't vote for you like that unless they feel that you are able to relate to them. So my style is participative. I have been a chair of various government committees. Unstructured, very many government organizations. I transformed the Kenyatta National Store into a state corporation. I transformed NSSF into a state corporation by creating positions, superannuation schemes, promotion structures, and so on. I transformed the Kenya Airports Authority from Aerodromes Department into a state corporation. And in all of them, I was interviewing the managing directors, the first managing directors at that time. So I would want to say my best was when I went to Teacher Service Commission and found teachers who had been there for more than 15 years without any promotion. I was able to promote 70,000 teachers at one go. And it was simple. I went to Treasury, they refused to give me money. But then I told them, I don't want your money, allow me to use my savings. Because I calculated the savings through natural attrition, I was able to actually promote 70,000 teachers at a go. I thought that that was my highest point at that time. It was even in the newspapers for almost 2 or 3 days continuously at that time. As for the low points, it's very difficult as an individual to indicate about your failures and so on. But I stood for elections in 2007 and lost. As a member of parliament, I felt very low. I think that's what I can say. Thank you.
Yes,
What are the most important lessons you have learned as a leader from your experiences? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I think what I've learned over the period is that if you are a national leader, then you probably first you must put your country first. Second, you must your own person and so on. You must put it aside and work as hard as you can. I have learned humility. I have learned that if you are in public service, then you must deliver to the people. I think those are things that I've learned. And for me, the biggest lesson is that, for instance, this particular job that you have here, you must make sure that you deliver. You must make sure that your customer is happy. Your customer, in this particular case, are the very many members of parliament, over 400 of them, and your secretariat, and the Kenyans at large, whom you should be able to give proper guidance through legislation and so on. So I think first and foremost is give service to the people and have humility. If you do that, you will be able to achieve what you're looking for.
Chair, maybe with the permission, I can go to the next category.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. First, Governor, I think we made choices of my neighboring governor, dropping my neighboring governor in Kisii County for the last 10 years.
Yes.
So I can't ask you questions on your competence, but I just want to maybe test your knowledge on current affairs. Governor, in the East African community, we have Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda as member states. Can you maybe name 3 other member states of East African countries other than those 3?
You mentioned Kenya,
Tanzania, Uganda.
you have Rwanda, you have Burundi, you have Southern Sudan, the East African community.
I just wanted 3, so I'm good.
Yes,
You already given me 3. Now, on issues of gender globally, can you give us any 2 countries with a female president or head of states? Any 2?
Thank you very much. We have, of course, our country just next door, Tanzania, and I think, if I'm not wrong, I just saw, was it Italy? I think it was Italy that I just saw the other day. I think those are the 2 that come to mind immediately.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. This commission is a very low-end engagement where you find Senator Kinyua when he enters his village, nobody notices that there's somebody here. I would you just to step down the ladder.
Thank you very much, sir. When I was a PS and I stopped being a PS, I went back and I drove myself. I used to drive myself. When I left as a governor, those who were there in Kisii, my wife, we had a car. So I went and drove myself out of that. I left all the drivers and everybody that belonged to the county, I left them behind. I went into the wheel and my wife sat next to me and I drove myself home because I accepted the reality that we are in transit in our positions and even in this world. Most of these things are transitory. If you keep this thing and keep it to yourself that this is where I am, then the landing becomes very, very hard and negatively hard. So I am a fairly, like right now I drive myself I have no fears or anything. I walk in town alone, so I really do not have a problem, sir.
Thank you, James. We'll come back to you.
And thank you very much, and be blessed.
We've taken a hostile disposition towards Parliament, joining the public fray of thinking that members of Parliament demanded more than they deserve. If you became a commission, how will you reconcile yourself to that? Because this commission is first and foremost a commission for Parliament, and therefore protects the interests of Parliament, its members, its staff, its image, and its standing and independence as a third arm of government.
For clarification, Mr. Chairman, you talked about two houses. You talked about Senate House and you talked about National Assembly. I don't think there was any issue at the time of the 11th Parliament when I was in Senate. But if you talk about the National Assembly, the 10th Parliament, yes, I want to say there was some misunderstanding. Mr. Chairman, you was a cabinet minister at that time. You know the discussion that took place when the government was being pressured, whether in the national communities for members to pay their taxes or to work their parts. And without diverging a lot of information, Mr. Chairman, I want to say I had a position to take which was supported by the cabinet and by the president. So the only problem was to approach the modality on how the taxes would be paid. But I was given that instructions to appear at the face of the government pushing for the taxes to be paid. But in short, the formula was reached, I participated in it, and taxes were paid without members losing what they were earning. And I want to say that came about that. And sometimes you do certain things to save, and the government provided that, and the leadership itself is asking me if you will be able to do that. Secondly, my performance as chief whip, I think I helped not only members of Parliament, but even the staff of the National Assembly of the Parliament. And Mr. Chairman, you know, I've never been given marching orders by any speaker in any house, despite the fact that I used to be one of who spoke quite regularly in the two houses. Why? Because I protected, I guarded the language that I used to make sure that not only my colleagues accommodated with what I'm saying and comfortable, but also the chair, the speaker, and the leadership commands and get the respect that they deserve for me. I stand the same, and I will be more than anybody else, Mr. Speaker. This is my commitment to help in any way to make sure that the welfare, the living condition, the working condition of the people who are serving are done in the best way possible. In other words, I'm ready to go out of my way as a servant leader, which I've displayed to do that.
If there is a contest